think every media outlet has to decide that for themselves. I don't think there is a one-size-fits-all solution. What I'd like to stress is I'm very careful when talking about pressure in the newsroom. I'm sure there's pressure, and we all sort of relate to stress differently. And bosses and heads of department and heads of news desks need to look after that. But if you look at other professions, brain surgeons, people delivering Amazon deliveries, people sitting at a cashier in a supermarket, that for me would be a lot more stress than what we do in the newsroom. I think journalists in general are a privileged profession, and we should always be aware of that. So in order to bridge the distance between our readers, our users, our audience, we shouldn't sort of present ourselves as the completely stressed out and pressurized. And we shouldn't leave the great storytelling to the guys in Macedonia saying that the Pope is endorsing Trump.
You, as a person who's directly involved in the training of journalists, obviously, you've spoken a lot about how, you know, these cases like the Spiegel one can be avoided, but just maybe a few examples of what can be done directly. It's obviously not just about better fact-checking, just something needs to be done in terms of legislation or in terms of, you know, how we train the journalists to deal with that.
No, I think legislation would be a huge mistake. I don't want government involved in certifying journalists, which I understand happens more in Italy, but it would happen in the US. I think that could be a dire mistake, especially consider the government we have right now, or the government that has been here in Italy in the past. And so I think that there are great dangers that lie there. We as journalists, I think, need to police ourselves. We need to be more judgmental. I go to events now where I see Russia Today, RT, in the room. Well, are we being careful enough about who we as journalists consider journalists? Are we being careful about how we react to bad journalism? There's an argument against The Economist's lack of bylines, and that is that they have less accountability for each journalist. So you actually see now the Trust Project and other projects are trying to make sure that news organizations put the name of the author, the bio of the author, and a way to contact the author, so there's more accountability. So anonymity has its place online, but mainly for the vulnerable, not for the powerful journalist.